Hey, sorry we're late. Had some little technical difficulties. Had to make sure some things was taken care of. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the X-Fan Show Afternoon Delight. The A Train, Arlington Lane, at your service. Hey, sorry we're late. Sorry about that. I had to make sure some things sounded okay on the broadcast. Everything is great. All right, welcome to the show. As always, I'm the A Train Arlington Lane, and my co-host with me is the American Idiot himself. Is he coming on, or does he not want to come on? Dirk, where is he? Come on, sir. Come on in. Where are you?
I don't know if you can hear me, but my soundboard went crappy.
You all right?
Hear anything? Can you hear me?
Did you kick yourself out again?
Anything? Can you hear me? See, I can hear things, but I
I'm trying to
can't.
see what's going on.
But I can't see. Hold on. Get me out of there. Go on. I can't hear you because my soundboard shot crap, so I had to get new headphones. I see Brian says he can hear me. So go on for a minute and let me get my stuff going. And,
Okay. I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh well, I'll be a monkey.
I can hear you. I can hear you, buddy. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No, I can hear. I can hear now. For some reason, the headphones were acting up, and I couldn't hear it. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, guys?
So, yeah.
Yeah, you can be heard, man. Is that hot water? Is that hot water this morning?
Coffee. My shirt off.
Oh, coffee today. Oh, you got your Andre the Giant shirt on today, huh?
That's right, because we are the largest show. I'm not as loud as normal. Okay, so let me. Like I said, guys, I had some problems. My headphones.
Is that him? It's like he was messing with his soundboard. Now he can't be heard. Stop messing with your stuff, man. See, now you went away. What are you doing? You was fine. Let's leave your stuff alone.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just gonna have to deal with that, man.
You're right. Okay.
You have to play with that some more later.
Well, yeah. So it was like a last minute thing.
Later, man.
Yeah, it was a last minute thing. You know, like I'm sitting here doing some things for the studio, and then all of a sudden, boom, my soundboard goes out, and I kept hearing a hump in the soundboard, right? So I was like, well, I'm gonna figure something out, right?
Oh, that's gross.
So I went and bought new headphones.
Okay.
Now I can move around. Yeah. I can dance.
There was yeah, gross, just gross. It's gross.
My money doesn't jiggle. My money jiggles. It don't fold. All
right. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not looking at that right now. But I'm sorry you guys have to look at that. I'm sorry.
All right, let's get into it. We are 78 days away from the draft, right?
You mean from kickoff?
From kickoff, right? 78 days from kickoff, right?
Yeah.
See, you're right, Jared. I do bring high ratings.
High ratings to what?
I don't know. I have no idea, right? So,
all right.
You know, our teams are already there and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Arlington now, and we might have a guest. I don't know. I know the dude's busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's in the morning, man. Like, he might be busy doing something, you know.
Well, he might be,
but
I don't.
Couple of league notes. Wendy Bass has joined the league as chief business and legal officer.
Congratulations
to Wendy Bass. She'll be responsible for the legal, people operations, and tech departments, and responsible for the league's broadcast partnership with Disney and ESPN. All right, that was one. I think there was another piece of information too. At least I thought I saw it.
Well, and then there's Erica something. Morning there. She has been hired in as something, and I'm looking that up right as we go. Let's see. I can't find it.
Brooke Campbell.
Yes, that's it. Glenn Campbell.
She's senior vice president of the team services. So congratulations. We'll be handling the business operations. She'll be the liaison, that is.
Yes. Exactly. Good for her.
All right. Also, you had the league, you had their content, I guess, that have been put out, right? Drive to the XFL kickoff. And from what I keep seeing is nothing but infomercials.
You're absolutely right.
So we doing infomercials now? Okay. Hey, you know what? If that's what it takes for people to start looking at the XFL, then by golly, do that. You know what?
More power to them, right?
Yeah. It's just, if that's an interesting approach. I know I shouldn't have laughed at it, but my thing is, you would think it would have some type of documentary style, and that's what it gives. It gives off, and making an infomercial of sorts, or sort of like an infomercial. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not going to say it is something that the XFL wants to do marketing wise, and to make their product in a more seeable future. That's what it's going to.
Correct.
All right. As always, folks, this show, you can catch us on Facebook, you can catch us on Twitch, and you can catch us on YouTube, on our channels, and then you can catch us on our Pro Football Alliance channels as well. All right. I think you can hear that in the background. Welcome to December, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, like Dirty said, we're like 78 days away, and we're looking forward to the start of the season, getting all the teams ready. I saw Ben DiNucci, saw a post from him coming up, over in Seattle, getting himself together. Oh, 79, is that what it is? 79. And we got a couple of questions on the docket. I want to see what this one said. The experts, Jesus. I don't know about experts. We good fans of it. A lot of people utilize us as that, but I'm trying to see. Hey, can you get the question? Because I'm trying to mark it up, and I can't.
Were you surprised on how many USFL All-Stars that the XFL had in their draft? Like Sal Ganella was one of the best tight ends last season. For example, Kyle Slaughter, Luis Perez, Channing. How do you say Channing's last?
Channing Stribling.
Stribling was a all USFL, etc. More to come. Was I surprised? To be honest, no, I was not surprised by that at all, right? It seems that we are going to see a battle. See, now am I saying my audio's jacked up? Is my audio jacked up?
Yeah, you talking like really fast, I guess.
Am I talking way too fast, you think?
It sounds like it, man.
Is that what it is?
It sounds like it. It does sound like it. You might need to take the headset off, man. Get rid of it.
All right. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Keep talking.
Okay, it says somebody you do have a robot voice.
All right, I'll be going right back.
Question was asked, did I hear anything about the Brandon Campbell guy for St. Louis VP? No, I didn't see anything on it. Any like message boards that put it up or posted it, just let us know. A lot of news we get and a lot of news we do not get. I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, Dirty's headset ain't the best. Anywhere on a stadium in Vegas. Okay. The rumors that's been out there, if you've been new to the program. The rumors that's been out there about the stadium issue is that there are two venues that are in play right now. One that's out is Allegiant Stadium. They don't want to play in Allegiant Stadium because of cost. It's going to cost a lot to play there. And one place that seems logical is Cashman Field. The other is Aviators Ballpark. Aviator, if you don't remember, Aviators Ballpark was the area where they did the Pro Bowl practice, and they had a big crowd out there. So that would be a logical choice as well. If you want to place a team there, I would have loved to be Cashman Field, but right now that's what's been in a flux. So right now, what we know is it's up to those two. And Brian giving off, yes, and that was the other thing. The other conversation was that that Sam Boyd was out of the question. Oh, okay. So I got some news. I got some news from a source about Brandon. I know about Brandon Williams now. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Williams, out of St. Louis, former Ohio State player, was getting involved with the XFL. And are you ready to hop in?
I don't know. Does this sound better? Can you hear me?
Hell yeah.
All right, well,
it does.
Okay. So we're good. So I sound better, right?
A lot better, man. you sound fine, man.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. Sorry about that, fellas. Well, like I said, when the soundboard goes shit on you, it goes shit. So, all right, let's see. Where were we at on this? So, now that we're back.
So one question was asked about stadium in Vegas. It's not Brandon, and I see where it was Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams, I hadn't heard. I knew he wanted to get involved. I don't know if you heard of Brandon Williams, the former Ohio State guy that's out of St. Louis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Played for the Rams and stuff. And now I hadn't heard. I knew he wanted to be involved, but I didn't hear anything about him actually getting involved with the XFL. I knew of his interest, but source just sent it over to me, and
I know who your source was.
I would love to see him in this role. Excuse me, Wisconsin Badger. I knew he was Big Ten because he was part of Big Ten Network and stuff, and so yeah. I knew he's part of. Excuse me, Brandon. Man, listen, brother.
Wait a second. Hold on. Are we talking about? Are we talking about this Brandon Williams? Here?
Brandon Williams, former receiver from Wisconsin that played for the St. Louis Rams.
That's the one we're talking about?
Huh?
So we're not talking about this Brandon Williams right here from Kirkwood, Missouri?
Yeah.
Well, he went to Rockwood Summit there.
Not that one. No, not that one. Not that one.
So that's not the one we're talking about. Okay.
No, not the one. Not the defensive tackle. He's a wide receiver.
All right, so I'll go look him up then. Wide receiver, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we can find him. All right.
He's a former player.
What did
Jared? Sam Boyd is out of the conversation right now. Sam Boyd Stadium is completely out of the conversation. Somebody asked about the stadium situation in Vegas.
So now Brian said, in this role, Campbell would manage the day-to-day business operations of the for the XFL's 8 teams, including developing and a consultative model to optimize market input and executing growth strategies in local markets as the XFL prepares for its 2023 season. Oh, that's for the gal, right?
Yeah, that's for Brooke Campbell.
That's for Brooke Campbell. Okay, so okay, so now I'm looking for this guy. I think is this the one?
Brandon Williams is the wide receiver, man.
That played for the Steelers.
Did he play?
Well, according to this, I got a Brandon Michael Williams, a former American football player.
That's the one. That's the one.
Well, again, he went.
He went to Wisconsin.
According to this, he attended Normandy State and played with Lawrence Maroney.
At Hazelwood East, yeah.
At Hazelwood East, and let's see. And it said he started 12 games as a sophomore in 2003. He was the team's number 2 receiver with 49 catches and 1 touchdown. He led the Badgers with 19 all-purpose yards and ranked 7th in the Big Ten with 21.6-yard kickoff return.
Yeah, they're looking to put him in an executive role with the Battlehawks.
Okay, now here's my question. So as I'm reading this, does he really have that executive type thing? I mean, here it says he played for the Rams. To me, I mean, I'm reading his bio, and it doesn't sound like, and again, nothing against the guy. I don't know him. I'd love to talk to him to see if he has the mind for an executive. But according to the way I'm reading,
yeah, I think because he's been big on business, and he's had some time over at the Big Ten Network, and has covered the Rams, so he knows his stuff when it comes to football. Man, he ain't a slouch.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's just saying that Ranger King here is saying, anyways, he's supposed to be the VP, and of business operations. He's got an executive stuff. Yeah. Including with Anheuser-Busch. Okay. Well, like I'm saying, when I pull him up, I don't see a lot of that stuff about him.
You looking at his wiki and not looking at his LinkedIn.
All right, well, I'll go to his LinkedIn page then.
Yo, you really going to do it right now on the show?
Yeah, why not? That's why Wikipedia is not a trusted source.
Well, we get that.
Oh, okay. So now this changes everything because the first thing it says on his page, right? No, that's not the right guy. That's not the right guy. Let's see.
It's just crazy how you gonna sit there and just look at that right now, man.
Well, I mean, the fans threw it up there, so I'm gonna look it up, right?
Yeah, he does have some executive experience, man, and I definitely would love to see him. And he big on football, man.
Okay, well, if that's the case,
then ties and everything.
Then let's do it. I'm all for it. If the guy got it, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, if they think that's who it is and they think he's the best guy for the job, then let's see what happens, right? I mean, I'm not going to say not give the guy a chance. You know?
Understood that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the X-Fan Show Afternoon Delight. This is the A-Train Arlington Lane. That's Dirty, who got his audio together finally. So, as always, catch us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, our YouTube channels. Just talking a bit about executives in the XFL offices right now. One thing that they were also talking about that I seen last night, I wanted to touch on a bit. That's another thing. He is a former teammate of Anthony Beck, so I would not be surprised him being on staff. You know,
what live stream is he going to be on?
Yeah, so we could get a chance to check it out tonight as well.
Because I mean, I reached out to the local St. Louis media guy, and nothing's in the frying pan apparently right now.
Not the frying pan.
Right. Well, hey, so here, I do know as I was getting my audio fixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were asking about a certain individual, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let me get to this real quick. Let me open it up for us.
What's up?
So, speaking of that, there was Ben DiNucci, right?
Right.
What's up?
Look at some of these people here. Now, this was done. Let me zoom back out of this, right? This was done on November 29th, right?
So 2 days ago.
2 days ago, right? So let's kind of look at this and see if what we could see, right? So I'm going to just kind of
mute the audio. Mute the audio.
Okay, let me do that. There's that. Hey, look, so there's Ben, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, look at this. 2 Renegades quarterbacks right there, right?
Okay.
So let's keep going. So we're going to scroll in. Oh, there's some players. Now, if I'm not looking, if I'm looking at this correctly, this actually might be some players, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be in Arlington, Texas.
Might be.
So let's keep scrolling there.
Like me driving the bus?
It did. There's Ben getting off the bus, right? Good looking dude, right?
Back there. Yeah.
Oh, look, there's some more players. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Is that Luis Perez with a Vipers hat on, it looks like?
Are you seeing some things? Yeah, that looks like it.
Doesn't that kind of look like Luis Perez? So let's keep going here some more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. There's a Brahma guy. Looks like the Brahma quarterback. Wait, what is this?
What is going on here, right?
Yeah. Are these guys actually in Arlington, Texas, and maybe doing some workouts, it looks like?
It looks like it.
Oh, hold on. Who is that guy right there?
Ah, that looks like Wade Phillips.
And if I'm not mistaken, Wade's kind of looking at this Ben DiNucci guy going, oh, shit, that's a quarterback right there.
Come on, man. It's the afternoon show.
Oh, we could say that word. That's okay. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm just going to speculate on this, right? I'm just going to speculate on this. This was done 2 days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that the players are already down in Arlington, Texas, doing workouts?
At least from what we saw, the quarterbacks are down there.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I'm not saying I know for sure, but that's the way it looks to me. Mm-hmm. That would be something interesting to find out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
you have to say you got to say some of the quarterbacks is down there. I don't know if all of them are there yet, at least from what we've seen in the video, but they're getting themselves together and worked out before they start training camp in January. Get themselves
right. I'm going to send a text message to a certain individual, right?
Okay.
Here from St. Louis. And I'm going to ask a question. Ready? This is what we do on this show. Hey,
just doing it live at that.
Saw a tweet.
You really doing this right now?
Yeah, right now. See? Right now.
Okay.
From me. Right?
Okay.
Are players in Arlington? This is how I type because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, because we know you're kind of like slow or something. But you said some of the people in the background look like high schools. They could have been. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. You know, they back there helping them out and stuff, and you know, get a chance. Oh my God, I get to be around some professional players. That kind of stuff. I know they may be like, you know. Say, is it against league policy for them to get together and mess around? They said mess around. Is that what they said?
Well, here's what I think. I think that this because everything is going to be in Arlington, Texas, right?
Right.
I don't think it's really going to matter because of that. You know, I know that they're going to be practicing in a couple different arenas, right? I know they
practice at different venues. They will practice at different venues around Arlington.
That is true. That has been said that they are going to be doing some workouts in different, areas, right? And then, right here, Jared says that Jordan Palmer is helping with QB development in Arlington. Yes, that is true. Like I said, I just sent a message. So we'll see. And again, we saw it on Twitter. You guys saw it right there on Twitter. Ben DiNucci put it on his Twitter page, right? On the XFLs.
And
Put
it
it
was
on
the Sea Dragons, right?
That was on the Sea Dragons page.
Also, what you're seeing is social media people from the XFL down in Arlington too.
You're right. Michael's right. All right, I got a response back, and the guy said, "What tweet?" I'm going to say the tweet from
the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Yep. What?
Go ahead, do what you're doing, man.
I am. You keep talking.
While you doing that, I'm gonna take what Brian asked about this Brooke Campbell, because we mentioned it a little bit, and I want to make sure we go a little bit deeper in with what her role is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And then she will play like a huge role. And people like you mentioned, people like RC and Sandy doing those fan pages. It's gonna be something. It is gonna be something about engagement and working with the different teams. I want to see how she utilizes those 8, and the potential for more if more teams get involved with the XFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if she's going to take the job of like what Kurt Hunzinger did in St. Louis. I can only say that for St. Louis purposes because I was there for that.
Right.
Had team services. You had Mark. You had Kurt. You had Andrew, and Edward. You had all those guys that were working around, making sure that fans were able to, get involved in the community, what was going on with the XFL, with the Battlehawks.
Correct.
Just around the areas, whether it was high school games, whether it was happy hours, whether it was whatever event that they could find, they were trying to reach out to the masses. And I wonder if that's what Brian is stating is what Brooke's role is going to be.
I mean, look, it could be. I mean, we do know when we were at the Anthony Beck one, and then I do know that in Vegas, Coach Woodson had mentioned that, they were going to be out in the community a few days before game day. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I know that Coach Beck and Coach Russ, Russ Brandon also said, a few days before game day, they're going to be in the city doing stuff, right? You give Brian Stahl here in St. Louis some credit. Every time Coach comes to town, he's got Coach on the local media stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still working out the details to get Coach with us, and we'll do it sooner or later. You know what I mean? Coach would be on sooner or later. I know that we're working to get Brian Willis and AJ McCarron. It seems like they're all busy. So with this Ben DiNucci thing, right, is that what these guys are busy doing? Are they already in Arlington, Texas? That's the main question you have to ask yourself right now, because this was from November 29th, right? Now, again, this could have been filmed months ago before the draft and everything, right? But we know Ben DiNucci wasn't in the draft pool, right? He got picked up in an open round, correct? If I'm not mistaken?
No, he was drafted.
Was he?
Ben was drafted.
Was he? I think, okay, you might be right.
Ben was drafted.
Okay, yeah. So, now, with that being said, again, like I said, this could be from months ago. We don't know for sure, right? But what we do know, it seems like the players are there, and there's more than just Sea Dragon players there. We saw Luis Perez in the background, right? We saw Wade Phillips looking at DiNucci going.
I can't say that was something months ago, because if they all got on XFL hats, this was happened to be after the draft.
It could have.
It was over.
Yeah, I mean, it could.
You see him in his Vegas Vipers hat. You see DiNucci in his Seattle Sea Dragons hat. This is after the fact. It'd be different if they just didn't have hats on. They represented their different teams. So this had to be something recent.
Yes. See, and then Jared says right here, yeah, it had to be. It had to be after. Yes. Now, again, I don't know. I'm just speculating on what I'm seeing. And again, like we told you guys, everything you want to see is all on LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that stuff. Just go back and look at it all. It's all right there. You know what I'm saying? You can go and see it. You know what I mean? See, now, were the quarterback selected or assigned? There's conflicting reports. You know, Michael, that is very good. Now, we know that certain quarterbacks were assigned, but is it going to be the same kind of assignment as in 2020?
I think this is a little bit different. You're not just because they were assigned or selected, whatever. They're still going to fight.
I just got a message back that says, "Oh, that's quarterback camps, not team workouts."
Yeah, but see, that's because everybody was together. I would agree with that sentiment. I would agree with that. Just a camp, just getting himself loose, getting himself together. You really diving into that text, man.
Huh?
I said you really deep diving into that text. But back to the quarterback situation here, we're looking at it as even if no matter what it was, selected or assigned, you don't know who the starting quarterback is like in 2020. Like when we got it in 2020, the 8 quarterbacks that we got, those were the ones that were going to be the starting quarterbacks for the teams. And we talked a little bit about it last night on the Fill the Top edition of the X-Fan show. We were talking about how, and it got crazy, how Dirty believed that Taylor Heineke should have been the starting quarterback for the St. Louis Battlehawks instead of Jordan Teamu. And I'm like, that's not what Vince wanted.
Right, and then again, we go back to what, yeah, and we've seen that, and we've heard that, you know, that Vince only wanted his players, the guys that he had drafted, to be their guys. You know what I'm saying? That they
drafted it, but he said that those that there was going to be picked was going to be the ones that were going to be the starting quarterbacks, and he was going to pay them the most.
Correct. Now, there's a really good interview with Chris Long on the Green Light, right, with Taylor Heineke. So if you get a chance, definitely go check it out. It's about a 45-minute interview, and Heineke talks about his time in the NFL, talks about his time here with the Battlehawks, and kind of alluded to what we had been saying, Arlington, is that the way it was done in 2020 is the quarterbacks were assigned, and those quarterbacks were kind of the guy that the league wanted straight up and foremost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this league going to be? Is this way it's going to be? And that's what I'm actually looking as I'm texting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for the team quarterbacks, right? So this doesn't seem, even though that the quarterbacks, it seemed like they were assigned, but it seemed like they already kind of did a pre-draft of the quarterbacks, basically, is what I would say. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if they did some behind-the-scenes work to see what, you know, they'll be potentially getting for XFL. And like you said, Jordan Palmer working with these different quarterbacks, especially in those camps.
So here you go. So I found it. Let me go to.
Andrew. Right. The 2020 quarterbacks were the ones he wanted them to be marketable.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan fit the bill in St. Louis. As a matter of fact, I hate to break it to you, but all 8 quarterbacks fit the bill.
Right. Now, this is courtesy of ESPN.com, right? So for the Renegades, you have Kyle Slaughter, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Drew Plitt, right? DC right now only has one with Eric Dingy, but, you know, I think if I'm not mistaken, King is supposed to be on that list too. But King was signed to the Carolina practice squad, right? Your team, Arlington, down there in Houston, has Brandon Silvers and Caleb Ellaby.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando has Quentin. How do you say his name? Dorm.
Yeah, Quentin Dormady and DeAndre Francois.
Right, and then down there in the Brahmas, They have Anthony Russo and Juwan Pass. And then here, okay, so DiNucci was picked up. So it's DiNucci and Montez for Seattle. And then you have, of course, you have AJ and Willis here in St. Louis. And then you have Jalen McKinnon and Luis Perez in Vegas. So, I mean, were they kind of, assigned, or were they did they already kind of do a pre-draft beforehand? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and yes, and now that the Brahmas do have 4 quarterbacks. Reports have come out that the Brahmas do have more than just the 2 quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So, why did you just put that up, bro?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, should I? Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. You know what I mean? To me, it's really going to be interesting to see. So, is this going to be okay? Like here, let's just use Vegas for the example, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll use the Roughnecks, right? You have Brandon Silvers and Caleb Ellaby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Is Brandon Silvers your starter? Or is it Caleb Ellaby? Or is it going to be a competition? Same here within St. Louis. Is it going to be A.J. McCarron or Ryan Willis? Same thing in Arlington. Is it going to be Kyle Slaughter and Drew Plitt? Which one is it going to be? Or is it going to be a competition?
Yeah, and you know what? The conflicting reports about it being assigned or selected, in a way, they were selected because, even though we didn't get a chance to know what the process was in that, they were selected to their teams. So it's like you can almost say they were both assigned or selected because they were all going to their team, right? And so at this point right now, I'm glad it's not the 2020 marketable thing that's been stated in the comments. It's more of we want to see who's the best quarterback that can lead the team to an XFL championship. That's what that's about. That's what I think that's more of. And yes, Brian, like you said, the final roster will probably be announced by the end of January. Yeah. It may not even be then. I probably believe it'll be like a week before kickoff. I wouldn't be surprised if it was then. So yeah, also, listen, Jared. Honestly,
I get it. I get it.
I get it though, man. But listen, Brandon has the experience. He got it, man. Playing in the AAF, playing with Memphis, got a chance to play there, and then was it that? Yeah, I think it was in Memphis.
Okay, so let's go to Michael's comment. Let's go to Michael's comment right here. ESPN reported they were assigned. Okay, the difference in 2020, you got to remember, we're going to go back to 2020. You had assigned quarterbacks already, right? In St. Louis, we had Te'amu, Heineke, Fitzpatrick, right? They were assigned, but Jordan was our assigned starting quarterback. Okay, so were these guys assigned as who is the starter, or were they just they kind of did a workout and then they kind of did a pre-draft and didn't show us, and then the coaches selected those quarterbacks and assigned them that way? You see what I'm saying? So, so that's the main question. Were they did a workout and then assigned to a team or drafted to a team?
Right.
And is it an open competition? Because like he said right here, Brandon Silvers, a lot of people were not a fan of Brandon Silvers, even though he had the experience. BJ Daniels came out and kicked some major butt. That is 100% true. He did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, remember, here in St. Louis, for Arlington, right? When you had Matt McGloin, the team wasn't coming out of the locker room, and Matt McGloin got benched. And
unfortunately, Landry Jones got hurt. And remember, Landry Jones was the very first quarterback in XFL 2020. Very first.
See, like right here, look, I'm saying teams are definitely planning on a battle based on how the coaches were talking about the guys that they got after the fact. And that, again, they were, and I mean, listen, right here, Michael says, I can't imagine Slaughter giving up his guaranteed spot in New Orleans Breakers to compete for a spot in the XFL. But if you're getting paid more in the XFL, why wouldn't you do it? And again, right here, Matt McGloin threw his whole team under the bus, which was super funny. They had to change the whole game planning set, and that is absolutely right. They did. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I would love to, sit down with, a Doug Whaley or somebody like that in the league and say, hey, how are you planning on doing this quarterback thing? You know what I mean? I mean, I'd love to sit down with one of the coaches again. I'd love to sit down with Coach Beck again if we could get him on. Or, Rod Woodson or something like that and say, look, you were assigned quarterbacks, but are you opening it up to a competition?
And but if I remember correctly, Coach Beck was the one that said that he was going to put the best players that could help win an XFL championship. Or am I telling a fib?
I could look. Look, if you look at the Renegades roster, right? Who do they have a lot of, Arlington?
Former Battlehawks.
Who's their offensive coordinator?
It's two, as a matter of fact. John Hayes and Chuck Long.
Who is going to be on the block here very, very soon in December?
Hey, but I don't see. Here's the thing: he may be on the roster, but that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you. It's going to be tough. I mean, if you go by the XFL schedule of what they put out way back in the day, right?
That's tough, man.
Yeah, the battle. Yeah, right here.
Hey, that's tough, man. Listen, as crazy as this sounds, I know I made the speculation that Jordan Ta'amu would go to the Renegades when his contract situation was up with the USFL. But let's say that it does happen. Let's say it does happen. And you have Ta'amu and Slaughter. Both of them were prolific passers in the USFL, right? Jordan was one of the better ones of the two. Slaughter was trying to get an opportunity to be the starting quarterback for the Renegades, and here comes this guy, Ta'amu. You playing the role of Bob Stoops, or you're playing the role of either John Hayes or Chuck Long. You telling me you're gonna pass up on your guy that helped out in 2020 that you depended on?
And if this is an open competition, right? Because like right here it says that they don't have preseason games, right? Training camp, which is if you go by what the XFL has put out, January, roughly around January.
Oh, wait a minute. Come on.
Okay.
Remember what they had to do in 2020 in Houston. In January 2020, they had to have practice type games to have the look of what the broadcast was going to be like, how they were going to broadcast. So they had scrimmage games. I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same thing, and they handle it down in Arlington, whether it's handled at the Frisco Center, and that's if Dallas is either in or out of the playoffs, because I know they have to utilize their center or somewhere. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they came to Houston and did it at Rice University again.
Right.
That's what they did it the last time.
Right. I like what Andrew said. I don't think they'll ever come out and actually say that player A is our QB1 after the training camp is almost over. I
wouldn't even do it after training camp. I would do it a week before the season.
Right, yeah, exactly. I would too. And like right here, Aaron, Jared says that the players won't have to pay for their hotel per night like they did with the USFL did. That will make players want to switch over to another league. You're absolutely correct. And then it's also going to be like they're not going to get in trouble for eating pizza instead of chicken salad.
And this is what we talked about during a scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised about that because they want to see how it's going to look on a broadcast. You got to get the graphics package together, right? You got to get the sideline reporters together, right? Got to get your broadcast teams, which you've been preaching about having Joe Buck and Troy Aikman doing.
I'm calling it now. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman calling XFL games.
I'm thinking it's going to be some not unknowns, but people that are hungry enough to try and get themselves known doing an XFL game. It ain't going to be like Matt Vasgersian doing a game back in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Gary King Lawler doing it back in 2001.
Right, yeah. So, I mean,
I would love to see Jim Ross do a football game again, but, where his ties lie.
So here's something, Arlington. Now, it's kind of – it's not I wouldn't say it's XFL related, but kind of is related, and I think this might have a lot to tie in with this. This is from Yahoo Finances. Disney just cost up $900 million to acquire MLB's remaining stake in the BAM Tech streaming company.
I mean, it is quite sort of XFL related because of the company that's partnering with the XFL.
Right, exactly. So the question is, with them staking into it, right? Okay, so now, I mean, look, MLB, right here in 2017, the entertainment conglomerate invested a $1.58 billion to acquire 42%, and then in 2021. The NHL sold its 10% stake to Disney for $350, right? Propelling Disney's stake in BAM Tech to 85%, right? So,
what is that? What do you think that means for the XFL?
Well, I mean, I think if they're doing it for MLB, they did it for the NHL, right?
Yes, and they have a long-term contract with Major League Baseball. They just got back the NHL.
Yep, NHL. They just signed a 5-year deal with Disney, right? I'm saying within a few months. I mean, we're now starting to see the infomercial for the draft to the path on ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see by end of month, right? Disney having XFL on their ESPN app, ESPN Plus app.
Let's see how the season goes, because for one, you got to remember the XFL has to complete a full season. All right. If you're looking at the history of the XFL, that hadn't been done since 2001. So we're looking at a 22-year gap.
Correct.
Of completing a potential full season. And even when that's done, the difference this time is there won't be a potential question mark if there is a season 2, because they're investing in it to be for at least 5 years.
Well, I mean, Jared says it right here. Will Disney go in for the XFL?
It's going to depend on what the revenue is league-wise. It's going to depend on that. Of course. I mean, come on now. Merchandise is going to play a big part of it. Attendance is going to play a big part of that. So if it succeeds, I'm expecting this. Since there are more channels, do not be surprised if the league does not scratch more than 3 million viewers in its opening broadcast, like it did last year. 2020.
I think they will, for the simple fact is I think that first week it's going to be very big. I think it's going to be very, very big the first week, right? So look. So we know that Redbird Capital, right? We know that Redbird Capital is a major investor in the XFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's something interesting to kind of show you about Redbird Capital.
The NFL too, right?
And NFL too, right? So let's really look at the companies that these guys deal with, right? Right here, prime example, right here. Fenway Sports Group, right? Another one, Main Event.
Main Event. Hey, Main Event is dope. I don't know if anybody has ever been to one, but there it is. That's the NFL one right there, the on-location experience.
On-location experience. Right here, the soccer club that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, XFL is on their page now. The Yes Network. The Yankees Network. Yeah, Skydance does movies. Look, Zenith Shipping.
There goes LeBron James's company, Spring Hill. You just got a text.
I did. So now I'm going to go back. You missed the biggest soccer club they own. Yes. Oh, you're right. They do. Right. Yeah. AC Milan right there. You know what I'm saying? So these companies that they own, right, are no joke. So I think with the partnership with Disney, right? The working relationship with the NFL that they have, right? And then with all of the other stuff they have, I could very well see them putting sponsorships from corporations into XFL teams.
Right there.
Right, exactly. So here you go. So from my source, right, I said questions. I said, were the QBs selected or assigned? And is it an open competition for the jobs? I don't think I heard any coach name any starters at the draft. So this is from a source in the league saying it's an open competition. So don't think the guys that we've seen right now are guaranteed to be the starters for that team.
Will we see two quarterback setups?
I think you do, and I think the way you're going to see it is in where was De'Aaron King supposed to go?
DC.
I think you'll see it in DC. That
Not Vegas, not San Antonio. I'm thinking Vegas because of the simple fact of the matter is it's similar to what happened in the USFL with the New Jersey Generals. With Luis Perez and what is the kid's name? God dog it. They did it too. Was it Johnson? I can't think of his name. Y'all help me out. But they did a 2-quarterback situation over there. Don't think that the XFL didn't look to see what was going on for potential offensive schemes and whatnot.
Okay, so right here it says San Antonio. Brian says San Antonio might do it.
They might do that.
They might. Jarrett says on our last thing, I think the sponsors will be fighting to be part of the XFL, like we haven't seen it in the alt football league with Dwayne. The possibilities are limitless. You're right. Look, right here, Las Vegas has been sponsoring the World Cup now. They might sponsor the XFL on ESPN. Look, like right here, they started a new production company with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I don't think this is rumors. I don't think that's rumors. I think Brian Scott is going to Vegas because I do know Arlington. We had a brief interaction with Coach Woodson, right? And we asked, we're like, Coach, what do you think of your QBs? He goes, I got a QB coming. He just didn't get drafted.
He did say that. He said that. He said that to us, man.
He said, I got a QB coming.
He said that. He did say that. He said that.
So
he said that. I'm a living witness to that.
Yeah, so Brian Scott, that's a for sure thing that he's not. He is definitely going to be a Las Vegas Viper, and I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, right here, Brian said it too, very well right here. Walt Disney might be a sponsor. They can hype up the ESPN World of Sports Park in Orlando. I mean, you're absolutely correct. The possibilities are endless of what they can do with having Disney behind them and Redbird Capital, right? I mean, we've seen The Rock's relationship with Disney, right? It's a huge relationship. And I think that's why they went to Disney. I think that's why they got signed. I know, Arlington, we had talked way back in the day that it was either going to be we were saying it was either going to be NBC, and we said the two we said the most was NBC or ESPN, right? And I think we were both kind of flopping of which way we would go. I think I was leaning more towards NBC, and you were leaning more towards ESPN. But I said I could see it going either way, But if I'm not mistaken, I think you did say you were saying that they would probably do Disney and ESPN more, correct?
Right, because of the relationship already that's been stated. And plus, at the time, NBC had just locked up with the USFL.
Well, they locked up the partnership with Fox and all of that stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot. I mean, look, Disney just paid $900 million to stream MLB baseball.
Hey, I'm surprised that Turner did not get involved. I always thought because Rock has a relationship with Warner Media, and so that would have been a cinch to either get them either there on TNT with Turner or even with HBO Max. That's what my line of thinking was because of the DC the DC comics.
Correct.
I was thinking at the time too.
Right. Yeah.
Getting with Disney was perfect. I mean, who else couldn't remember The Rock with the movie The Game Plan 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, exactly. And Jared's right. MLB has not been doing great with the TV ratings and not as popular as it has been like NASCAR. I mean, you're absolutely right. Brian says here, I can make a future prediction that once the teams leave Arlington, that the Orlando Guardians home will be at the ESPN World of Sports Park.
Wow, World of Sports.
Ooh. I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, The Tooth Fairy. It was a great movie. Great movie. Now, Arlington, I know that we had a question yesterday, right? And let's end the show with that question that we had yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're right at our hour limit. Somebody was asking about San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing with Vegas. They had a place lined up in Vegas, right? They were originally going to go to the Allegiant Stadium, okay? They were going to go to Allegiant. It's been leaked out, or it's been said, here and there, that they were wanting way too much money. Mark Davis wanted way too much money to go into to have the XFL play in Allegiant Stadium, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Rock had said in an interview, or somebody had tweeted to The Rock saying, "I wish that the Guardians would have stayed in St. Louis or in New York." And The Rock said, "So do I, but it wasn't financially feasible for us at this time, right?" Now, then they moved LA to Vegas, right?
No, right now LA is on the back burner.
LA, New York are on the back burner. I honestly don't think they're going to go to New York. I'll think they would go more towards Jersey, because if you really look at what's happening in Jersey, Arlington, there's a new soccer stadium that's being built that's going to fit 30,000 people in it. So why wouldn't you put the team in New Jersey instead of New York, right?
Yeah.
But now for the San Diego thing, right? Now Vegas, they had a place as they announced the teams, right? Again, and I'm gonna put all this back to Coach Beck in his video when he got the box, right? He says, "I've been waiting for this since February," and that was of 2021, right? So they've known where they're going to play at. They've seen.
No, they've known that February of earlier this year.
Was it?
Yeah, dude. We're
You're right. Yeah.
This has been 9-10 months.
COVID, COVID. You think everything with COVID, everything you think differently now, right?
Yeah, it's been earlier this year.
Yeah. So they've known since February, right? Now, here's what I'm going to say. I don't think they would go to San Diego, even though they just opened Snapdragon Stadium, right?
Right.
As much as I love San Diego and I love that the XFL San Diego group of what they're trying to do to get a team into St. Louis, yeah, like right here. Oh, my bad. You're right. The mayor said the soccer stadium is in New York next to Citi Field, not New Jersey. My bad. That is right. So that's where they're going to build it at. I don't know why I was thinking. But, I mean, look, put them in the soccer field.
Citi Field would have been good too, but that's another story.
Yeah, I don't think you could have converted Citi Field into a base.
Football stadium? Are you kidding me? I know they don't want to. I know they don't want to because they were only focused on baseball. I get that. But I'm saying it's possible. If I see one freaking bowl game in Citi Field, that let me know right there that they care about. They want football in their stadium. They want more money in that stadium. And you could put a football team in there.
I agree with you.
Don't miss me with that crap.
Right. And I mean, he's right. Citi Field area is a good area. I mean, they've really done Citi Field up and made that whole entire area around Citi Field very, very nice, right? But back to the San Diego thing. So I actually think they have a deal done in Vegas. They're just working out logistics. I'm not saying they do. I just have a feeling they do. I mean, we did show them. I mean, Rod Woodson did. We did show Rod Woodson, the Rod Woodson Sports Complex, right across the street from the Impact Center, and he said, "I'm all down for that."
You stupid. Hey, good doctor said City won't do football, but the Yankees allow. Yeah, because they got the if I'm not mistaken, the Pinstripe Bowl.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't think they would allow an XFL team to be in there though.
Maybe. I doubt it. I don't know. They're part of the Yes Network. Redbird Capital's part of the Yes
Network. At the same time, you got to remember it's going to coincide with baseball.
That is true. You got to
do it, and it'll be for a month. They won't go for that. They won't go for that at all.
They won't do that. But okay, back to the point is. Look, as much as I like that Snapdragon Stadium, and we've shown it, we had a guy that was on from San Diego XFL wanting to get a team there, right?
Yeah.
San Diego's kind of in the same boat as St. Louis. They lost the football team, right? They didn't go and support the team, especially in San Diego.
Don't tell them that. But go ahead.
Right, yeah. So I mean. I just don't see it going to San Diego. Again, that's why I think they picked Vegas. And again, like I said, I don't know 100%. I just have a gut feeling that they have a venue.
But here's my thing. If Los Angeles is not in play, throw them in San Diego. What's wrong with that?
I mean, again, I'm going back to that the San Diego didn't really support the NFL that much.
Are you kidding me? They were there for over 50 freaking years.
But why did they move then?
Money. Money did it.
That's true.
Money did it, man.
Yeah, so, see, look right here. Look.
Because that's the case.
They got less support for the Chargers than the Rams did here.
Out of here, man.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's no more than an eyesore than that field that
But that's why now you put an XFL team over there.
I mean, maybe I understand why they did it to Vegas, Again, like I said, I think some things fell apart. Why the deal fell apart in Las Vegas, but I also think.
And plus, it was this part. Chargers won a new team and nobody wanted to pay.
That is true too. I have a feeling that Vegas is starting to become the mecca of sports.
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, they're going to get pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah. I mean, Arlington, we saw the dome. We saw the big giant spear they were building. Looked better than that one in that's just 3 hours west of me. And I mean, and the San Diego stadium is much better than that stadium that's 3 hours.
Hey, and we
look, right here, the mayor says I could see Tijuana before San Diego.
Hey, but no, also when you was talking about Vegas, we were in Caesar's Palace, and you saw that sports book.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that sports book, man. How big
right here
is.
I mean, right there. Let's be real. Jerry wanted to be in Vegas because he wants to get in that market. He's part of the Fenway, and they've been pushing to get an NBA team.
But that's with the LeBron James thing too.
That is true.
That's what LeBron James wanted to get a team out.
Look, you can bet on it all you want, Brian. That San Diego and Portland are going to be the two next team coming. I don't think so. I don't. I don't think they will. I don't think so. I think you have a better shot, like the mayor says right here. I think you have a better shot at seeing it.
Come on, man. No, I do see San Diego as a legitimate spot for the XFL, man. But like I said, we got to get there first. We got to get these teams together first.
Let's get the season over first.
Yeah.
The Tijuana Donkeys. Okay, I like that name.
What?
Like that name, the Tijuana Donkeys. Look right here. Right here.
We knew about that. Now this is easy. Now that's easy.
Right, and then right here. Mexico City and Oakland. I can see that.
No, Oakland is a complete eyesore.
That is true. That is true.
Oakland is about to get nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I could see this too. I've always thought of another city that could be in the running for expansion is Chicago.
It's too cold.
It is true.
I would see Minneapolis get one before Chicago.
Well, and Brian, I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying that they don't love football in San Diego. I just don't see San Diego being the next team that's going to be in the running for an XFL team. Yet, I have a feeling, we would either see back in the New York area or in LA. That's just mine. And you're right, and that's what we just said. You got to get the one season under your belt before we can talk about expansion. Before we can even talk about expansion,
that was from the question that we got about San Diego. Boy, we went way over time today.
We did, and I mean right here, Columbus, Ohio, from the mayor of the XFL. Columbus, Ohio is a football city with a currently new soccer stadium. You're absolutely right, and then we're going to leave it right here on this one. New York and LA cost so much money, I am sure. So, with that being said, I apologize for my soundboard acting up and my headphones not working. So
you don't need them anymore.
I'm going to go charge them. Get them.
You're not going to need them anymore, man, because then we can hear you.
No, I know, right? I'm going to get them charged. I'm going to get it charged up, right? I am Dirty. Thank you for joining us today on the show. The guy sitting next to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Glad to have you on board. We'll see y'all next time. We'll see y'all on Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Will we see him on Tuesday?
We'll see him on Tuesday, man.
Oh, okay then.
Unless anything breaks.
Unless anything breaks. That's true. You got a point.
Breaks, man.
Got a point. I can't turn the music up, Arlington.
Don't worry about that.
I was going to play the music out. See you guys next week.